28 years have passed since January 20 tragedy, crime against humanity, happened. Every year our people pay tribute to those killed fighting for the independence of our motherland. The bloody January tragedy is the day that went down in the history of Azerbaijan as heroism. An atrocious and bloody crime was committed against unarmed people in Azerbaijan on January 20th of 1990. Military units of the Soviet army attacked the people who took to the streets and squares to protest against the aggression of Armenia, which put forward territorial claims against our country and its supporters, the then USSR leadership. Civilians who joined the fight for the national freedom and the country's territorial integrity were tortured. Hundreds of innocent people were killed and wounded as a result of mass terror. This once more exposed the criminal essence of the totalitarian Soviet regime ahead of its collapse. The terrorist act committed by the former Soviet state military against the Azerbaijani people went down in history as one of the most terrible crimes against humanity. January 20 tragedy demonstrated courage and pride of the Azerbaijani people who couldn't tolerate the aggressive policy of the criminal imperial leadership and strove for freedom and independence. January 20th is not only a painful day in the history of the Azerbaijani people. January 20th is a glorious day for the Azerbaijani people. The people could demonstrate their courage in response to the terrible actions of the Soviet military. These events demonstrated that the Azerbaijani people can fight for the restoration of their violated rights and sovereignty. Unfortunately, as both the USSR and the then Azerbaijani leadership were direct organizers and participants of this bloody crime, they didn't take measures to solve it and bring the criminals to court. On the contrary, they did their best to cover up the crime. The nationwide leader of the Azerbaijani people, Aliyev, went to Azerbaijan's embassy in Moscow on the day following the tragedy, shared our people's grief and exposed the bloody action committed by the Red regime in Azerbaijan. On those hard days, people felt that they were not helpless. Aliyev, who was the first secretary of the Central Committee of Azerbaijan Communist Party, worked as the first deputy chairman of the USSR Cabinet of Ministers, member of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Soviet Union Communist Party, who with strong political strength and will infuriated the USSR leadership, supported and showed solidarity with the people in those hard days. With his statement, Aliyev actually assessed the process in Azerbaijan. The great leader drew attention to the unfair attitude of the USSR leadership towards Azerbaijan, blamed the authorities for appointing incompetent and slave-like leader to Azerbaijan, said this caused the deep abyss between the people and the authorities. This first of all served the interests of the central government and led to the future problems, to be more exact, January 20 tragedy. On November 21st of 1990, on the initiative and under the leadership of the nationwide leader Aliyev, the Supreme Assembly of Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic gave political legal assessment to this tragedy. The historic document revealed those responsible and guilty in this political and military crime against the Azerbaijani people. After the fall of the Soviet Union and restoration of Azerbaijan's state independence, the Azerbaijani leaders began to struggle for power and didn't take expedient steps to investigate the causes of this terrible crime, give it a political legal assessment and determine the criminals. After the nationwide leader Aliyev returned to power in Azerbaijan, a political and legal assessment of the January 20 events was given in 1994, and the names of those guilty of the crime were made public. The Martyrs will always remain in the memory of the people. Their families always feel state care. The social protection, pension provision of those who became disabled in January 20 events are always in the focus of President's attention. President Ilham laid a wreath at the Eternal Flame Memorial. the state anthem of the Republic of Azerbaijan was performed.